Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's Diego with the beautiful Karina, my lovely Prometida. And we are waiting for our K1 visa to get adjudicated at the Service Center in California, US of A, beautiful California. And I'm in the Panhandle of Florida, near Pensacola, north of Navarre Beach. And Navarre Beach is where we're going to get married. And Karina is from Caracas, Venezuela, and she is a legal resident of Bogota, Colombia. Beautiful Bogota, high up in the Andes Mountains. And she is the boss at a couple of ice cream stores. And her education is in tax accounting. So we're combining ice cream, cakes, and accounting together. And this video is, what is a CR1 visa? We talk about K1 visas all the time. This channel is primarily about K1 visas, but one of our wonderful YouTuber viewers wants to know what is a CR1 visa, the process. So come on along, let's go. Now, eating these cookies, now these are cookies from Walmart, okay? And they're great value cookies, chocolate chip, half the price of the regular cookies and just as yummy. But we're going to give first a shout out to Jose, because Jose wanted to know, he's trying to figure out whether he wants to go with the K1 visa route or the CR1 visa route. So let's talk about the CR1 visa so he can get a good idea, a better idea on what he is going to do with his decision. Now, a CR1 visa, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, also called the IR1 spousal visa, is an immigrant visa issued to an alien or foreign national who is married to a U.S. citizen. So you're already married, and who is a permanent resident also of the United States, and he or she wishes to live in the United States with their spouse. I can understand that. The CR in CR1 stands for conditional resident, okay? And that is because this visa, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, is only provided to couples who are married less than 2 years. So if you've been married less than 2 years, you get a CR1 visa. Similarly, the IR1 visa stands for immediate relative, IR, immediate relative. And this visa is granted to couples who are married precisely more than 2 years. So if you've been married exactly 2 years to the day plus, you get the IR1 visa. And well, okay, what's the difference between the K3 visa and the CR1 visa? Well, the K3 visa has pretty much gone the wayside of the Antique Roadshow, and it's pretty much this really doesn't serve much of a purpose anymore. So folks are more inclined to go with the CR1 visa. But to answer the question, what's a K3 visa? It is used by it is a non-immigrant visa that allows spouses of U.S. citizens to enter the United States of America and then give them an opportunity to change their status to a conditional green card. Now, all these objectives are being completed by the CR1 visa, spousal visa, at a lower cost, less steps, more easier. So the K3 is pretty much gone out the window. And the CR1 visa allows a spouse to have a conditional green card immediately, right today, immediately. Once you get it, well, not today, as soon as it gets approved. So now let's talk about who is eligible, who qualifies for a CR1 visa. Now, first of all, you got to remember, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, the CR1 visa can only be initiated by your U.S. citizen petitioner, by the petitioner. And it is essential the following qualifications are applied to the petitioner. It is a U.S. citizen or the person's in possession of a green card, must be legally married to the person, okay? And you must meet the following visa income requirements. Well, I made a video about the minimal income requirements in another video. So you got to meet the income requirements. And it is also important to mention that most common reasons behind the denial The most common reason a CR1 visa gets denied is because the sponsor forgets to bring his tax returns to the visa interview, okay? Or he can't produce any pay stubs. He may make the money, but he can't prove it. You can't prove it, the visa gets denied. So don't forget your tax information and your pay stubs, W-2s, 1099s, etc. Okay, so what documents are required for a CR1 visa? As with any visa, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, the success of it depends on the availability of the correct documents. Okay? So, to help you get on the right track and put the ship in the right direction for your CR1 visa, you will need the following documents, Mr. Sponsor. Form I-130, USCIS Form I-130. This is used to petition your spouse. Get yourself a USCIS Form G1145. It's an e-notification form. You put your phone number, cell phone number, and email address on there. Immigration will text you when they receive your petition. You're going to have to eventually fill out DS Form 260, which is an electronic application for the immigrant visa. Put all this together. Now don't forget, you're going to need a cover letter too to start off. Mr. Sponsor, Mrs. Sponsor, for your CR1 visa, you will need proof of your marriage. Proof of a legitimate marriage, which is essentially the marriage certificate. Okay? You're going to need, additional information if you have a joint bank account together. Anything that you have that puts you guys together in some form of marriage, legality, you get your evidence, okay? Passport photos, you're going to need passport photos. You're going to need proof of permanent residency or domicile in the United States, Mr. Sponsor, Mrs. Sponsor. If you've been married in the past, you're going to have to provide proof of evidence of final divorce decrees or annulments. You're going to need medical examination forms. You're going to have to get a medical exam. And an affidavit of support, which is Form I-864, which is different from the Declaration of Financial Support in a K-1 visa, which is Form I-134, which you bring to the visa face-to-face interview. Okay, so you guys are married. The first thing you're going to do is to get the CR1 visa is you're going to file a petition, Form I-130, USCIS Form I-130, and you're going to send it to USCIS, U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services, just like you do with the K-1 visa. Now, once your petition gets approved by USCIS, okay, they send it to the National Visa Center, the MVC, in New Hampshire. And then you will be given a case number and for the petition, and you'll be asked to complete that form, the DS-260 form, and provide your choice of address, where you live. You then got to pay the fees. Uncle Sam doesn't work for free, and it's not really Uncle Sam, but it is. It's Homeland Security. Along with the requested documents which you submit, after which the processing will commence. Boom, boom, boom. So what the MVC is going to want you to do is to upload all these documents to the SEAC system under 2 megabytes of data. Everything has to be under 2 MG. Okay? If you make a mistake uploading documents to the SEAC system, the MVC will send you a nice little fancy email saying, we couldn't accept this document, resubmit it, and then you have to wait 3 months, or maybe 2 or 3 months for the MVC to check it again. If you make another mistake, you have to wait another 3 months before the MVC will look at your case. And that really is not the way I would want to do business, okay? I don't want to go through that. Now, the price of processing a CR1 visa is going to probably change next month. It is currently April 2023. May 2023, I'm sure there's going to be a price increase, so I don't know how much it's going to be. But, it's a government fee, and it's going to be expensive. And, you're going to have to pay the MVC, you got to pay USCIS, blah, blah, blah. And if you hire an attorney, you're going to be paying... You're going to be paying for a new swimming pool for somebody's backyard if you hire an attorney to do this process, okay? But the good news is once your visa's been approved, you won't need to apply for a green card, and that will be a relief, because with a K1 visa process, you have to bring your beneficiary to the USA, get married in 90 days, and then adjust the status and pay for a green card. Then you got to wait for the green card. With the CR1 visa, you don't have to wait for the green card. How long does it take to process a CR1 visa? Well, that's, you know, who knows these days? Who knows? It's no different from processing a K1 visa. The time is between, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 months, depending on your package, okay? The time will vary between what country is your beneficiary in, your wife or husband. Which country does she live in? What's the current workload at USCIS or the MVC? What's their workload? How accurate was your petition when you submitted it? Did you make any errors? If you did, then send it back. Like I said, if you upload into the MVC, SEAC, if you make an error, every error will add 3 months to the processing time. Okay? So I'm not going to put out there how long it's going to take. Just assume that it's just as long as a K1 visa. So now let's compare apples to apples, or apples to oranges. Can your wife or husband work on a CR1 visa? Well, sure. As soon as they get to the United States, well, the green cards are going to be handed to them at the embassy. I believe it's at the embassy. So they're going to have that green card in their hand, and the CR1 visa, when it gets stamped in the passport, that acts as a temporary green card also. And a permanent green card will be then issued to your husband or wife. With a K1 visa, you don't get your green card. You get permission to enter the USA, you get permission to marry, you got to get married in 90 days, then you got to adjust the status and wait for the green card. So with a CR1 visa, your spouse can work right away. With a K1 visa, not so. That's the basic difference. Another positive with the CR1 visa is that you and your spouse can travel outside of the United States. So you basically are going to enjoy all the rights and benefits of a U.S. permanent resident. Okay? But there's a catch. If you spend too much time outside the USA, Mrs. Beneficiary, Mr. Beneficiary, there's a good chance that you will lose your green card. The Border Patrol will not let you back in the USA if you go longer than 6 months on your green card. If you want to go on vacation for 2 weeks, knock yourself out. But if you just boot and leave the country for 6, 8 months, 7, 10 months, you may not be allowed back in the United States. Okay? Immigration may think you and your husband are not in a real relationship. Why would you be separated for so long? So that's it, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen. That's the basic rundown on a CR1 visa, IL1 visa. Personally, myself, I'm all in on the K1 visa. Less stress. It's a little more expensive. You got to wait for the green card to get processed in the USA. Okay, but my fiance will be my wife. She will be with me in the USA, and that's the way for me to go. I've gone through both routes. I've been through the IL1, the CR1, and I've been through the K1. And the K1 visa, for me, in my opinion, is the way to go. But that's my opinion. You may be sick and tired of waiting for your K1 visa. You might fly to your beneficiary's home country and get married. I don't recommend it, because then you're going to get to the back of the line, file your Form I-130, and have to wait all over again for your new spousal visa. Just stick it out. Just wait out the K1 visa. Thanks for watching, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and we will see you soon in the USA with either your K1 visa or your IR1 visa, whichever way you decide to go. Thanks for watching. And Jose, thanks for the idea for the video. We're here for you.
I'll be back.